There is a silence that often goes unnoticed, the kind that creeps into everyday life, not through age or time, but through the slow unraveling of memory. For many, it begins subtly, a forgotten name, a misplaced key, a story told twice. At first, it feels harmless, an echo of fatigue, a symptom of distraction. But over time, these small moments begin to build a pattern, a quiet shift in the rhythm of the mind. This is how dementia often enters, not with drama or noise, but with gentle footsteps. And for those over 60, awareness becomes the greatest form of protection. Today, we uncover 10 early indicators of dementia you must recognize, signs that may seem ordinary, yet hold profound meaning. Because the sooner we understand them, the sooner we can protect the most sacred part of being human, our mind, our memory, and our story. Memory loss that disrupts daily life. We all forget things. A friend's birthday, where we placed our glasses, the name of an old song. But dementia-related memory loss is different. It interferes with life itself. Imagine forgetting the steps of a familiar recipe you've cooked for decades, or missing appointments repeatedly, not because you were busy, but because the memory simply vanished. This kind of forgetting isn't about occasional slips. It's about disconnection. The brain begins to lose access to the pathways that store long-established memories. Doctors call it short-term memory disruption, but to families, it feels more personal. It feels like watching someone drift gently into fog, reaching for moments that used to come so easily. Recognizing this difference early, between normal forgetfulness and memory interference, is often the first step toward getting help. Because when memory fades quietly, awareness must speak louder. Difficulty planning or solving problems. Another early sign hides in something most of us take for granted: organization. People in the early stages of dementia may begin to struggle with tasks that require sequencing or focus, paying bills, following a familiar recipe, or managing medications. It's not just about forgetfulness. It's about losing the ability to process steps in order. Something that once felt effortless now feels tangled, confusing. A simple example: a person might stand in front of a coffee machine, unsure which button to press next, though they've done it every morning for years. This isn't carelessness. It's the brain's way of signaling that its executive functions, the mental gears that coordinate thought and action, are slowing down. Recognizing these subtle hesitations early, before frustration or embarrassment take hold, allows for early medical evaluation and lifestyle adjustments that can slow progression. Because it's not about losing independence. It's about preserving it while there's still time. Confusion with time or place. One of the most delicate shifts that dementia brings is temporal confusion. Moments begin to blur. People with early dementia may lose track of dates, seasons, or even where they are. A person might walk into a familiar room and pause, disoriented. They may forget how they arrived somewhere or believe they're in another decade entirely. To families, these moments can feel startling, like brief disappearances. Yet for the person experiencing them, they can feel strangely natural. The brain begins to lose its anchor in linear time. It's as if yesterday, today, and tomorrow merge into a single uncertain moment. When this happens occasionally, it's simply distraction. But when it becomes frequent, when orientation fades even in familiar places, it's time to listen deeply. Early recognition allows for supportive environments to be created, spaces that feel familiar, safe, and calm. Because when the world outside grows uncertain, peace must begin inside. Struggling to find the right words. Language is one of the most powerful mirrors of the mind. When dementia begins to touch that mirror, the reflection becomes hazy. People may start pausing mid-sentence, searching for a word that once came easily. They may substitute unusual words or repeat phrases without realizing it. Sometimes, they may begin a story but lose their thread halfway through. This isn't about intelligence. It's about connection, the neural bridges between thought and speech beginning to fray. For loved ones, patience becomes a form of medicine, because frustration only deepens the silence. Encouraging communication with gentleness, allowing time, listening without correction, helps preserve confidence, dignity, and the simple joy of being heard. Every word, even when slow to arrive, is still a piece of someone's heart trying to reach out. Misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps. We all misplace things, but in early dementia, something deeper occurs. A person may put objects in unusual places, a wallet in the refrigerator, keys in the laundry basket, and then completely lose the ability to retrace their steps. It's not the loss of memory alone. It's the loss of spatial awareness, the map inside the mind. When questioned, they might grow defensive or anxious, sensing that something isn't right, but unable to explain it. These are not moments of carelessness. They're signals from the brain, subtle reminders that its internal compass is faltering. Creating calm, consistent spaces where objects have designated homes and daily routines are steady can bring comfort and reduce confusion. Because sometimes, stability outside helps ease the storm within. Changes in judgment or decision-making. One of the lesser-known early signs of dementia is a decline in judgment, the ability to make sound, safe, or reasonable decisions. Someone may give away large sums of money to strangers on the phone, fall for scams they once would have avoided, or wear inappropriate clothing for the weather. It's not stubbornness or recklessness. It's the slow dimming of the prefrontal cortex, the region of the brain that weighs consequence, risk, and logic. To loved ones, these moments can feel frustrating. But beneath the confusion lies fear. The person senses something slipping, a loss of certainty about what's right or safe. This is why compassion must guide every response. Instead of confrontation, offer gentle guidance. Instead of correction, offer companionship. Because when the mind begins to lose its footing, the heart still listens to kindness. Withdrawal from social activities. In the early stages, dementia often brings an invisible retreat. People may withdraw from friends, hobbies, or gatherings they once loved. It's not always depression, though it can look like it. Sometimes, it's the quiet exhaustion of trying to keep up with conversations that move too fast, or the embarrassment of forgetting familiar faces or names. The brain begins to tire more easily, overwhelmed by stimuli it once managed effortlessly. As a result, solitude becomes a refuge, not out of preference, but preservation. Recognizing this early can make all the difference. Encourage gentle social contact, small groups, slow conversation, peaceful environments. Connection remains medicine, even when words grow fewer. Because loneliness, when left unchecked, can hasten the decline of the very mind it tries to protect. Changes in mood and personality. One of the most heartbreaking early signs is a change in mood or personality. A gentle, patient person may become irritable or suspicious. A confident individual may grow anxious, fearful, or withdrawn. These shifts aren't about choice, they're about chemistry. As certain brain regions lose balance, emotional regulation becomes harder. A person might lash out unexpectedly or misinterpret others' intentions. It's not malice, it's misfiring neurons. For caregivers, understanding this difference can bring peace. It reminds us that what we're witnessing is not the person changing, but the illness speaking. And through patience, calm tone, and gentle touch, it's possible to reach beyond the confusion, to connect heart to heart, even when the mind struggles to follow. Visual and spatial difficulties. The eyes may still see clearly, but the brain may not interpret what it sees correctly. This is another early indicator that often goes unnoticed. People might misjudge distances, struggle to read, or have difficulty with color and contrast. They might reach for objects that aren't there, or mistake reflections in mirrors for other people. This occurs because dementia, especially Alzheimer's type, affects the visual processing regions of the brain. These symptoms can lead to accidents or fear, especially in environments with complex patterns or poor lighting. The solution lies in simplicity, soft lighting, uncluttered spaces, and high contrast between floor and furniture. Small adjustments can bring a sense of control back to a confused mind. When the world starts to look unfamiliar, familiarity itself becomes a form of healing. Difficulty completing familiar tasks. Finally, one of the hallmark early indicators, struggling with tasks that once felt second nature. Driving to a familiar location, operating a television remote, or balancing a checkbook. These simple acts begin to feel foreign. It's not laziness, nor a lack of intelligence. It's the brain's wiring slowly rearranging itself. Routine paths that connected memory to action begin to fade. This confusion can lead to frustration or even panic. The key is patience and adaptation. Simplifying routines, labeling items, and breaking complex tasks into smaller steps. This empowers independence, even as memory shifts. Because the goal is not to return to the past, but to make peace with the present. The power of early awareness. Early recognition of dementia can change everything. While there's no single cure, timely attention allows for intervention, from nutrition and exercise to mental engagement and emotional care. Research shows that maintaining heart health, staying socially active, and exercising the mind can delay cognitive decline. The earlier you notice, the more you can do. Memory care isn't just medicine. It's routine, compassion, and mindfulness woven into daily life. When families understand the early signs, fear turns into preparation, and preparation into peace. The human side of dementia. Beneath every symptom lies a person, a life of stories, laughter, and meaning. Dementia doesn't erase that. It only changes the way it's expressed. A mother may forget her daughter's name, but still smile at her touch. A husband may lose track of time, but still feel peace when holding his partner's hand. When we focus on what remains, the emotions, the instincts, the capacity to feel, we find that connection is still possible. That love, though unspoken, still speaks. This is what compassionate care truly means. Not fixing what's fading, but honoring what endures. Hope in the science. Even as dementia remains complex, modern science brings light. Advances in early detection, dietary research, and brain training are helping slow progression. From omega-3 rich diets and antioxidants to music therapy and mindfulness, the mind still responds to care. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, continues even in later years. Every moment of stimulation, every act of learning, laughter, or creativity is a quiet rebellion against decline. Because while we may not stop time, we can still nurture life within it. The memory that remains. Dementia is not the end of a story. It is the changing of its language. It reminds us that memory, though fragile, is not the only measure of a life well lived. For even as words fade and timelines blur, something greater endures. The warmth of connection, the strength of care, and the timeless presence of love. To recognize the signs early is not to surrender. It is to choose compassion before crisis, understanding before fear. And in that choice, we preserve more than memory. We preserve dignity. We preserve humanity.